Hello friends, welcome to Kolanjiappa IAS Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss the current affairs related to UPSC Mains 2022 of June 11, 2022. Let's get into the video. And the first topic today is India-Iran ties reset. In prelims portion, it comes under current events of international importance, regional forums, India-Iran relations, Chabahar Port, International Atomic Energy Agency. In main portion, it comes under General Studies Paper 2 of Significance of Iran for India, India and its neighborhood relations. India-Iran relations. The bilateral relations between India and Iran span millennia. Both countries share borders until 1947 and share several common features in their language, culture and traditions. The diplomatic ties were established since 1950 when both countries signed a treaty of friendship and perpetual peace. However, Iran's joining of the Baghdad Pact in 1954 and the Cold War politics prevented both countries from having closer until the 1990s. India and Iran have surveyed the possibilities of settling trade transactions in rupee or through barter system, along with a discussion to a need to establish a banking mechanism. India and Iran also agreed to precipitate investment in the Chabahar port, which is being developed with the help of India. The signing of Delhi Declaration, which provided the vision of the country's defense and strategic partnership, and the Tehran Declaration, which set forth the areas of possible cooperation between India and Iran. Significance of Iran for India. As we know, Iran shares a long border with Afghan. The original objective of India's Chabahar project in Iran was to create a direct access to Afghan bypassing Pakistan. This direct access is critical for India in all different scenarios. Number one, the move supplies to Afghan in larger quantities, retain its presence in Afghan and carry out covert operations. Iran was the first country among the Organization for Islamic Cooperation to mention satisfaction over India's actions after remarks on Prophet Muhammad. The current controversy and its possible impact on India's international relations. Relationship between India and Arab countries might take a hit. India's image as a religiosity-tolerant country may hit. The impact on economic relations as calls for boycotting India and Indian products in Gulf countries may happen. India and Iran should work together with other regional players to push the Taliban to adopt a more inclusive regime while at the same time maintaining a policy of gradual bilateral engagement which is rooted in realism. India should give its full support for the effective implementation of the JCPOA, which is nothing but Joint Comprehensive Program of Action. Only successful implementation of JCPOA over a period of time can create the political space for additional negotiations. India should continue its engagement with Iran while pressing for its concerns at the same time, in particular when it comes to Iran's relations with China endangering India's interests. The way forward. Alternate payment method. The short-term course can be developing alternate mode of payment method to Iran and promoting flexibility in investment mode. India and Iran are looking to swiftly conclude a preferential trade agreement and a bilateral investment treaty. Relaxed visa norms announced by Iran in addition to India's proposal for Indian businesses to invest in rupees in Iran are all moves in the right direction. This is today's second topic. The topic is the Indian patent regime and its clash with the United States norms. In prelims portion, it comes under the current events of national and international importance of patents, World Trade Organizations, TRIPS, trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights, and COVID-19. In mains portion, it comes under General Studies Paper 2 of reforms in international organizations and laws, patent laws, TRIPS, etc. Let's get into the topic. The US State Representative said that India was one of the most challenging major economies as far as intellectual property protection and investment is concerned. It has decided to retain India on its priority watch list along with 6 other countries such as Argentina, Chile, China, Indonesia, Russia, and Venezuela. What are patents? Patents represents a powerful intellectual property rights and it is an exclusive monopoly granted by a government to an investor for a limited pre-specified time. It provides an enforceable legal right to prevent others from copying the invention. Patents can be either process patents or product patents. So there are two types of patents, process patents and product patents. Let's discuss about it. Product patent. A product patent ensures that the rights to the final product is protected and anyone other than the patent holder is restrained from manufacturing it during a specified period. This is applicable even in the cases if they were to use a different process. A process patent. A process patent enables any person other than the patent holder to manufacture the patented product by modifying certain processes in the manufacturing exercise. Patents and India. India became a party to the trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights agreement following its membership to the World Trade Organization since 1995. India is also signatory to several intellectual property rights related conventions such as number 1. Please make a note of it. Berne Convention, which governs copyright. Number 2, the Budapest Treaty on the international recognition of the deposit of microorganisms for the purposes of patent procedure. Number 3, the Paris Convention for the protection of intellectual industrial property. Number 4, the Patent Cooperation Treaty. India moved from product patenting to process patenting in the 1970s, which enabled India to become a significant producer of generic drugs at global scale. India later adopted process patenting rather than product patenting and built up a huge generic industry which allowed companies like Cipla to provide Africa with anti-HIV drugs in the 1990s, which is commendable and appreciable. The obligations arising out of the TRIPS agreement, India had to amend its Patents Act in 2005 and switch to a product patents regime across the pharma, chemicals and biotech sector. The recent issues with the Indian patents. The SS Special 3101 report reviewed India's section and highlighted certain issues in it. Number 1, copyright and piracy. Number 2, trademark counterfeiting and trade secrets. But India denied that. India remained one of the world's most challenging major economies with respect to protection and enforcement of intellectual property. It said patent issues continue to be of particular concern in India, highlighting the threat of patent revocations, lack of presumption of patent validity, and narrow patentability criteria as issues which impact companies across different sectors. The issues with TRIPS. The process of vaccine development and manufacturing has several steps, and it involves a complex intellectual property mechanism. Different types of intellectual property rights apply to different steps, and there is no one kind of intellectual property that could unlock the secret to manufacturing a vaccine. The expertise to manufacture it may be protected as a trade secret, and the data from clinical trials to test vaccine safety and efficacy may be protected by copyright. Manufacturing vaccines will need to design the process for manufacturing the vaccines. Source necessary raw materials, build production facilities, and conduct clinical trials to get regulatory approvals. The manufacturing process itself has different steps, some of which may be subcontracted to other parties. Thus, a patent waiver alone does not empower manufacturers to start vaccine production immediately. This is Tirunelveli Alva, which is given GI tag and comes under the TRIPS agreement. Way forward. General issues regarding IPR were extensively tackled by the Parliamentary Standing Committee, which undertook a review of the intellectual property rights regime in India. The nudging voluntary licensing. An assertive posture on compulsory licensing would also have the advantage of forcing several pharma companies to offer licenses voluntarily. India has historically played a leading role in mainstreaming TRIPS flexibilities like the compulsory license at the WTO. In this global and national health emergency, the government should inexplicably make use of compulsory licenses. It is important to ensure fair, affordable, and equitable access to all tools for combating pandemics such as COVID-19, and therefore the need to build a framework for their allocation. The government's efforts to strengthen national IPR policy, IP Appellate Tribunal, EU governance, and commitment to abide by the TRIPS agreement of WTO in letter and spirit will help in improving perception of India globally. An efficient and equitable intellectual property system can help all countries to realize intellectual property's potential as a catalyst for economic development, social and cultural well-being. The report also highlighted such as the accession to the World Intellectual Property Organization performances and phonograms treaty and the World Intellectual Property Organization copyright treaty, collectively known as World Intellectual Property Organization Internet treaties in 2018 and the NICE agreement in 2018. These were the positive steps taken by India recently. This is today's mains practice question, friends. There are two questions, please practice this. Number one, India has a long dream of entering into Central Asian countries. In the light of this statement, discuss the significance of Iran in fulfilling the Connect Central Asia policy of India. And it comes under General Studies paper 2. Number 2, India has gradually aligned itself with international regimes pertaining to intellectual property rights, critically analyzed. And it comes under General Studies paper 3, friends. Please write the answer and send it to the following mail ID. Thank you, friends, for watching the video. Let's see you all in the next video. Thank you.